We have a quorum. We would like to call the meeting to order of April 7th. There is a quorum. 2 trustees are not here yet, Trustee Thornton and Trustee Newman. You want to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance for those who are able to. In a moment, a silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you'll remain standing for a moment of silent prayer, please. Thank you. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. And we did add item number 7, which is a Washtenaw County senior nutrition contract that needed to be approved.
So moved, Peterson.
Motion Peterson.
Support.
Support Eldridge. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved. Next, we have the consent agenda, which is the minutes of March 17th, regular meeting, and March 31st, special meeting, and statements and checks.
So moved.
Support Peterson.
Motion Eldridge, support Peterson. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Attorney's report, Mr. Winters.
Madam Chair and Township Board members, I think first of all, I just want to take a moment and I think the Township Board was really pleased to see the turnout at the special meeting on March 31st. I think that was probably one of the best meetings I've ever attended, in which the audience had a real direct question and answer back and forth between the Township Board members. And I think that was one of the most mutually beneficial meetings for both the Township Board members and the audience, as well as myself. Sometimes you don't really know just where to begin after having a meeting that occurred such as March 31st. During the last week, we continue to see events play out on the world stage that, quite frankly, are just absolutely nerve-wracking. They absolutely are, they almost shatter your own value system. And even tonight, we're looking at some type of a deadline in 2 hours where the President has said he's going to take measures that will ensure that a whole civilization will die tonight. Those are his words. Whole civilization will die tonight. And so as we hear the rhetoric of using bombs to destroy infrastructure in different parts of the world, it takes us back to the March 31st special board meeting where the Township Board unanimously approved Resolution 2020-605, strongly and unequivocally opposing Los Alamos to locate anywhere in this township, given the fact that their mission is to continue to produce the technology and the ability to design the next generation of nuclear weapons that are going to be manufactured, presumably, in New Mexico. Now, subsequent to the March 31st meeting, the Township Board, through its clerk, sent out that resolution to all of our federal elected officials, our U.S. senators, our congresswomen, state senators, state representatives, the Washtenaw County commissioners, requesting them to support the township's position that this township is not going to be the location for Los Alamos to locate a Tier 1 high-value target on the backs of township residents, businesses, and light industry by locating that facility in a civilian community. Now, it's been 1 week, and I realize the people I mentioned are pretty busy people. But surprisingly, they found the time, most of them did, to attend the Hash Bash this past Saturday. Okay. Many of them spoke at the Hash Bash. And I understand, I was around when the first Hash Bash was held. I know I'm dating myself, but there's others up here too that can recall that first Hash Bash. My point is, I think somehow, in the total scheme of things, that this issue of Los Alamos wishing to locate right on the banks of the Huron River, where they're going to be conducting research to produce the plutonium pits for the next generation of nuclear missiles, that somehow, some way, that should have somehow entered into their individual psyche, that maybe that issue could at least be elevated to the same level of importance of attending the latest Hash Bash. That didn't happen. We did receive a phone call from State Representative Jimmy Wilson, once again saying that he stands tall with the township on this issue, that Los Alamos is a clear and present danger if they locate here, and that we do not want them, in conjunction with the University of Michigan, to go forward with their plans to build the, quote, biggest, baddest, and fastest computers in the world. Now, as you think about what may happen in a couple hours this evening, and again, I'm glad to see Trustee Rowe here tonight, because I think she and I can probably relate to what I'm going to say next, maybe more than other board members. But in 1961, there was the Cuban Missile Crisis. I remember that very well because as school children, you learn about it in school. You took safety measures. I'm not really sure how effective they would be to be in a hallway with your head down by your knees and your hand over your head, but that's what we did back then when they had the nuclear sirens go off. But in 1962, there was actually a book that was written, and keep in mind this is 64 years ago, and in that book, which is called Failsafe, it's a fictional account of U.S. bombers through a technical glitch transporting nuclear weapons to Moscow, and they go beyond the point of no return, which is the failsafe, where they cannot turn back. And in the preface to this book, I just want to actually read a few sentences here, because I cannot think of anything more appropriate that was written 64 years ago than what was written by these two authors in 1962. Quote, "For there is substantial agreement among experts that an accidental war is possible and that its probability increases with the increasing complexity of the man-machine components which make up our defense system. Hardly a week passes without some new warning of this danger by knowledgeable persons who take seriously their duty to warn and inform the people. In addition, all too often, past crises have been revealed to us in which the world tottered on the brink of thermonuclear war, while strategic Air Force commanders pondered the true nature of unidentified flying objects on their radar screens. Men, machines, and mathematics being what they are, this is unfortunately a true story. The accident may not occur in the way we describe in this book, but the laws of probability assure us that ultimately it will occur. The logic of politics tells us that when it does, the only way out will be a choice of disasters. Now, that was written in 1962, and I can't think of anything more relevant today than what we are witnessing right now with this full court press by the Department of War, which they changed their name from Department of Defense to Department of War, in which the University of Michigan has unabashedly aligned itself with. They are very, very proud of the fact that they are now aligned in lockstep with the Department of War. And they also, as pointed out in today's article by most of the newspapers, the military budget to produce plutonium pits is being proposed to increase by 87%. The budget at the national level for military spending will be an all-time record. And while the president says we don't have enough money for daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, and the hundreds of millions of people that are affected by that, we will continue to spend $2 billion a day in the war in Iran. Now, what does all this have to do with Ypsilanti Township? Well, very simply stated, everything. Because when the University of Michigan and Los Alamos, if they are successful in planting their flag on the banks of the Huron River, there is no going back. Once that footprint is established, it will expand, and it will continue to expand. And there's no way you're going to stop it. In fact, they've told us as much in their application that they filed with the MEDC. When they went to the MEDC for a $100 million corporate welfare check back in December of 2024, keep in mind this township board did not even know they were going there. When they went there in 2024, they said right then and there that they were going to, I'll use their words so I don't misquote anybody, after being confirmed that they would receive this $100 million corporate welfare check, even though they are the third wealthiest university in the country, even though they have a $20 billion endowment, even though this county continues to be divided by race and place, in spite of all this, they also say it's anticipated that Los Alamos and the Department of Energy will upgrade the supercomputing assets every 3 to 5 years, over $250 million, to maintain global leadership in having the world's most powerful computational infrastructure. Having these facilities here will be a significant addition to the innovation infrastructure in the state. And they go on to say how their investment on the banks of the Huron River will position Michigan for additional anticipated federal investments to support AI research hubs across the country. Folks, they are coming here with one purpose in mind, and that is to be the brains of Los Alamos. We have received more support, the township has received more support in its struggle to fight against Los Alamos coming here from the people in New Mexico than the state of Michigan. They're the ones who've contacted us, who have warned us right now that this is not good for your community, that the advantage that Michigan has that we don't have is that you have water. That's why they're coming here. We have water, and we also have a governor who has given tax breaks to such an extent that you now have probably 60 major data centers lining up, rubbing their hands, ready to destroy the farmlands, ready to destroy the electric grid, ready to use all the power, ready to go ahead and use all the water so they can continue to transform themselves from mega millionaires into mega billionaires. And again, while Rome is burning and Nero is fiddling on the roof, our elected officials, rather than coming to a township board meeting and speaking out that we will stand by you, they're at the hash bash, okay? They're at the hash bash. And so, what's wrong with this picture? Everything. And so, at times, if you didn't see this, you probably would think, we're making this up. I've also seen, like all of you, just about every commercial there has been made by about 4 or 5 of the major law firms in this state telling you that if something bad happens to you, call 1-800-SAM. Call 1-800-Mike Morse. Call Leave Free. Go on and on. Everybody that you can see. Anything that happens, call one of these attorneys. It just so happened, I saw, again, the commercial that features Mark Bernstein, U of M regent, one of the ones who continues to be responsible for allowing this monstrosity of a proposal to continue. And he's standing in the middle of a junkyard surrounded by all these junk cars. And he's saying that when you find yourself in a bad accident, his words is, quote, don't let the insurance companies treat you like junk. So call 1-800-SAM and we'll make sure the insurance companies don't treat you like junk. Well, what I would say to you, Attorney Bernstein, Regent Bernstein, stop allowing your University Board of Regents to treat Ypsilanti Township and its residents like junk. This is exactly what you're doing. This is exactly what you've done. You even have the audacity to say, in response to a question by the news media, when I asked them, why don't you inquire of U of M as to why, if this was such a great idea, if this state and the Department of Energy and everyone in Washington believes that the brains of Los Alamos should locate on the banks of the Huron River, right near our hydropower station, right near YCUA, near 2 airports, near residents, high-rise apartments, etc. If this is such a great idea, why don't you locate this in Ann Arbor? And the professor of U of M who was overseeing this project responded by saying, well, we picked Ypsilanti Township rather than Ann Arbor for infrastructure reasons. He went on to say that U of M wanted to build in Ann Arbor, but the township emerged as a better option because it offers, quote, the required power, water, and zoning for light industrial activity, unquote. Now he's saying right now that we have things that the Ann Arbor doesn't have. That we have power, I guess they don't have the power. And we have water, I guess they don't have water. And zoning, which is totally a red herring and a Trojan horse, because we all know that U of M is exempt from zoning. So what he's saying right now is that you have water and power, like they don't exist in the city of Ann Arbor. The township, as I said before, to quote Regent Bernstein, continues to treat all of us like we're junk. We're disposable. Again, because this township has historically been marginalized by our people, historically low income, a lot of historical disadvantages, don't have the generational wealth that has highlighted Ann Arbor, that somehow we can put it over there on the banks of the Huron River, away from the city of Ann Arbor, about as far as you can go in Washtenaw County before you reach Wayne County. Put it near close proximity to a toxic landfill in Van Buren Township. Put it also near all the other infrastructure that I've already referenced. Put it near that area, out of our way. And even though there's 200 jobs that will be created over a 10-year period, and by the way, that's what's in their own application, 10 years, and even though there will be federal research scientists performing those jobs in remote locations all around the world, even though we don't pay any taxes, even though we have no plans in the event that we come under attack as to how a response is going to be, what response we're going to make, because we won't allow your police or your fire to have any access to those buildings. In spite of all that, somehow we should be grateful that they've chosen Ypsilanti Township to locate here. So right now, I will say this, and again, I think the people from New Mexico and some of their top scientists, their top researchers who've actually contacted us. We've had Zoom meetings with those people who are totally incensed. But they've warned us again and again, you are the brains of this operation if they locate here. It doesn't matter so much as to where they're manufactured at. It's the technology, it's the artificial intelligence that's going to take what he calls the command and control over these nuclear weapons. So this is going to be, make no mistake, a high-value target. And so this evening I will advise the board that I think we may need to have another special meeting in the next several weeks to consider our next steps in this fight, because I think the board has already announced and determined and without any question that its legacy is going to be in fighting Los Alamos and U of M from coming here. But I'm still kind of somewhat mystified as to what's going to happen on Wednesday night at the next Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners meeting. I do know that at least one or two commissioners were here during that special meeting on March 31st. No comment was made in support of the township. They'll get another chance on Wednesday night if they actually have the courage to bring that resolution forward. And assuming that they do bring that resolution forward, I hope they have the courage and the intellect this time around to realize that they do not have a right to recuse themselves from voting on the resolution just because their employer is the University of Michigan. You can only recuse yourself, as all of us know up here, if you have a financial gain. So at the one meeting where we asked for them to support us, 3 of the 8 recused themselves, presumably because they had a financial gain. That's the only reason you can recuse yourself. Now, it'll be interesting to see how many will recuse themselves from opposing Los Alamos. They don't work for Los Alamos, I hope not. And if they do, they should disclose that. But at some point in time, it goes back to what we said many weeks ago. You got to make a decision. Which side are you on? It's not that complicated. It really isn't. And if you really believe the University of Michigan and Los Alamos should somehow locate in Ypsilanti Township, it's in our best interest, it's in the best interest of the Department of Energy, it's in the best interest of the president who says tonight he's going to ensure that a whole civilization will die tonight and destroy all the infrastructure in that country. If that's what you really believe, then just say so. Take a stand. Because right now, the state of Michigan, and I've been here my entire life, I have never been more embarrassed as to what we have seen happening at the state and local level on this issue. We've talked to a lot of people during the last few weeks, especially last week, and more people are becoming more and more aware of this issue Unfortunately, we don't have the coverage that would warrant a front page coverage story like they did on the hash bash. But at the same time, I think that as we continue to make sure that we do our due diligence and do the right thing, then at the end of the day, we can honestly say that we didn't leave anything on the table. It may very well be nobody knows the outcome, and things change dramatically from week to week, it seems like, from day to day. But at the same time, I think all of us know that we cannot allow that part, any part of this township to be utilized by Los Alamos to develop, to be the brains behind the development of the next generation of nuclear missiles and jeopardize the lives and the livelihood of people in our community by putting a bullseye target on our community. It's disgraceful, it's shameful, it's embarrassing. You run out of adjectives after a while in regards to what's going on up there in Lansing, and yet when the supervisor reaches out to Lansing months ago to simply say, can we have a conversation with you? Can you come down to Ypsilanti Township? Can you meet with us and hear us out as to what our concerns are? Not only is she told that she cannot meet with her, but they add insult to injury. She shows up around Thanksgiving, Ypsilanti Township, passing out the turkeys within a mile or two of where we can meet at. So again, this is what it's come down to, folks. You have people in power that are going to continue to ensure that those who are rich continue to get richer at the same time at our expense. And at some point in time, the question keeps being asked, when is enough enough? When do you have enough? And if we can spend $2 billion a day to destroy a civilization, I think we have enough money for daycare, enough money for Medicare and Medicaid. It all relates back to the same thing. This is part of the Department of War that U of M has aligned itself with, along with Hillsdale College, not with the other highly esteemed colleges that they used to be associated with. They're not associated with MIT or Harvard or Yale anymore. They've aligned themselves with Hillsdale College. Well, that's an alternative too. You can go build this facility in Hillsdale College. If you feel that strongly that U of M, and Hillsdale College are on the right path, and you want to sell your souls to the Department of War, then locate it there. Ypsilanti Township wants no part of it, no part of the hypocrisy, no part of the exploitation, no part of continuing to treat us as if somehow we can't, as Brenda would say, read, write, and spell. We know how to read, and we also know which way the wind is blowing. There's an old saying right now that the more things change, the more they stay the same. And I'm afraid right now that we're just seeing, again, a replay of what nearly happened 64 years ago. And it's maybe not the best note to end on, but I hope things don't go tonight the way they've been predicted all day long. But in the meantime, we have to keep fighting the good fight and do what we have to do, because the future of the township depends upon this board's actions, because what happens on the banks of the Huron River will determine the direction this township will go for the next 100 years. That I do believe. And so I'll conclude my report right now, and we'll keep you informed as to when I think it would be ready for the board to consider our next step from a legal standpoint for a special meeting. And again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Winters. Any comments from board members? I just want to say thank you for all the time and effort, and it's day in and day out that Mr. Winters is working on this. Since the 31st, we did have a Zoom meeting with someone from New Mexico. It is going to be a great resource, I think, to the township and to the mission. And I also know from the last meeting, the priority has to be a mailing that goes out to residents so people know more about it. It's on our to-do list, but we have to get that mailing out because residents are shocked when they learn they didn't know about it. Mr. Winters has done interviews with Bridge Magazine, EMU, Detroit News. That's since the 31st, and many other publications, but we still have to get it to our residents. And one of the articles, it said, lie, 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 from Mr. Winters. And it was 20 acres it started, 200 people on site, 200,000 a year salary. That's how it was proposed. 2 office buildings, nothing about a data center, nothing about even Los Alamos. In the article that from the University of Michigan that Ms. Peterson gave me, they talk about cybersecurity, which is what they said they were going to do. And we know that we're under attack from cybersecurity. Our residents, people in the United States, they're really getting taken advantage of. They're taking their bank accounts, they're taking their identity, they're getting their houses. And so part of the national security was supposed to be identity theft and things like that. And none of it has been true from the very, very beginning. So we'll work on scheduling the next special meeting. And just know that we're working on the legal strategy. I'm terrified of what would happen if it comes here. So we can't let it come here. And we'll do whatever we can as a board and whatever our community is ready to do it as well. So U of M Board of Regents, you can change it, snap of a finger. You can change this, where this is going, and you can protect the very people who needs it the most. Instead of locating it in the area that your own Poverty Solutions report made recommendations on what not to do. And this would fall in the category of let's not locate it into an area that has lower opportunity. We're supposed to help lift people up, not put a target so that we're losing the value of our home. And people said to me this week, should I sell my house? And they've been here for 20 years. But they're asking that question. And that's the position that the University of Michigan and the state of Michigan, I am Governor Whitmer, it's almost unforgivable what she's allowed to happen in our community. And we need to remind her of that. I know she's not running again, she's term limited, but she continues to push data centers everywhere she goes. It's not a good economic plan. Even Florida limited the number of data centers because they do read articles, they do understand how it can impact your electrical, your environment, your water, and the people that surround it. So rest assured, we're still going to keep going and keep you updated, and Mr. Winters, we will have a special meeting sooner than later. Thank you. The next item, oh, I'm sorry. Yes. Is your microphone on, please? Is it green? Okay.
Okay, there you go. Hi, Monica Cross-Williams, 2150 Chevrolet, West Willow. It does say you can comment on agenda items, so I would like to follow up on what the attorney said. I want to start out with District 5 on the Washtenaw County Commission because I do live there. That is my district. If I have it correct, Justin Hodge decided to recuse himself as Commissioner Justin Hodge because he works for the University of Michigan. As Attorney Winters mentioned, unless you have a financial conflict, you cannot recuse or abstain yourself for a vote. If he was confused about that, he should have asked the attorney that sits on the Washtenaw County Commission. During a previous time when I sat on the board, and there was an issue that came up with, I believe it was T-Mobile. I have stock in T-Mobile. I asked a question at the board meeting in regards to the conflict of interest, and Attorney Winters confirmed that it was not a conflict of interest unless I was getting a financial gain. So if he was confused, that's what he should have done. Now, as for otherwise, I believe he abstained as well to vote on Los Amagos. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right, which I'm confused on if he has a conflict of interest in that. And if so, is it basically the nuclear waste conflict of financial interest? It's disturbing because the data center will go in District 5. District 5 is Textile Road. The fact that particular commissioner has not came to this board meeting and spoke on the record in regards to his thoughts about this data center when he represents people from West Willow and all across the south side of the township, which will have the data center right near them, is ridiculous, and it's insulting. And us in District 5, which I think I speak for enough residents, I was not able to attend the last meeting, but I know a lot of residents in District 5 were here, and they are not happy. In fact, they're incensed right now because this is a danger to our community. It is a danger to our waterways. The Huron River is a protected river. It's historical, right? It's a danger to the environment, the land that is there, and also basically natural habitat. And it's a danger to my grandchild who lives right around the corner inside of Schooner Cove condos, and my daughter.
Thank you.
So thank you. I want that. And if I could ask for those comments to go verbatim on the record, I would appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? Hearing none, we will go to new business. Number 1 is approve the first reading of Resolution 2026-06, which is a proposed ordinance 2026-514, an ordinance text amendment, towing services without an impound or storage yard, taxi terminals and dispatch facilities, limousine services, and bus depots. Clerk Swenson.
Resolution number 2026-06 in reference to ordinance 2026-514, zoning text amendment, towing services without an impound or storage yard, taxi terminals and dispatch facilities, limousine services and bus depots. Whereas the township receives interest from towing services without an impound or storage yard, taxi terminals and dispatch facilities, limousine services and bus depots, with the desire for access to the regional transportation network of interstates and highways, and whereas there is not a specific zoning district in the township zoning ordinance that presently permits this land use, and whereas in studying towing services, dispatch centers, and related land uses as a potential land use in the township, it has become evident that these uses are best located in an industrial district with great access to highways and interstates where it mitigates traffic impact to other commercial corridors and residential areas of the township. And whereas the township is committed to locating towing services, dispatch centers, and related land uses in areas with appropriate infrastructure and minimal impact on surrounding properties, and minimizing adverse effects on residents and adjacent communities, including managing traffic. Whereas the ordinance amendment is consistent with the intent of the ICR, Industrial and Commercial Revitalization District, as well as the township's current master plan. And whereas it is regularly scheduled, where at its regularly scheduled meeting held March 24, 2026, the Charter Township of Ypsilanti Planning Commission held a public hearing discussed the proposed text amendments, and recommended that the Township Board approve the ordinance amendment by Resolution PC 2026-01 as presented. Now therefore be it resolved that the Charter Township of Ypsilanti Board hereby adopts and incorporates by reference ordinance number 2026-514 attached hereto by reference in its entirety. So moved.
Motion Swanson,
Support.
support Eldridge. Mark?
All right. Good evening, trustees, Attorney Winters. My name is Mark Andrick. I'm the planning director here at the Township. So I'd like to introduce a small presentation about this zoning ordinance text amendment. This solely is looking to make an amendment to Article 4, Section 420, what is the residential or, actually it's the land use table. This is the process for the zoning text amendment. There was a notice in the paper to Ann Arbor News M Live on March 8th. The Planning Commission public hearing was held on March 24th. Tonight is the first reading, and as with any zoning ordinance, any ordinance or zoning text amendment, it does require 2 readings, so the second reading is planned for April 21st. We have a new clicker. I'm still getting used to it, so give me just a second here. There we go. Thank you. This is the zoning map of the township. Once again, I have highlighted the area in the gray on the right. This is the industrial and commercial revitalization district where we're looking to establish this as a way to get approval in the township. It is located nearby to Willow Run. It's located nearby to Interstate 94 and also to US 12 to the north, right to the east of Wired Road. Next. The current zoning ordinance, the only establishment that about towing services with an impound or storage yard, taxi terminals and dispatch facilities, limousine services and bus depots. The only place it is mentioned is in our commercial districts. The neighborhood business and general businesses. If you notice up there, there's 2 dashes, which means that it's not permitted. This is not listed in any of our form-based codes. It's not listed in our industrial districts. And so the township has received some interest from, people just reaching out. Is this a permitted use? Very informal interest, but we have identified that there really is a gap within our zoning code, and we wanted to ensure that there was a proper place in the township for these land uses to go to. So it's not listed as a permitted use, and it's not listed in the industrial use table. This adds the use that it may be approved in the industrial and commercial revitalization district with a special land use approval from Planning Commission. And why a special land use would be appropriate is it gives Planning Commission the ability to make an assessment of the specifics of the proposal and the intensity that's there. And if there are certain land use measures to determine that might help mitigate impacts to surrounding areas, that could be additional landscaping, that could be additional pavement or site design. That's where a special land use is very helpful for the township to determine, is this appropriate or not, or are there additional conditions we need to add on to ensure that it is an appropriate use. This amendment, if you can go back for a second, this amendment protects the township of not outright prohibiting a land use in the township. And as we mentioned in the resolution, the ICR district is most appropriate as it provides great access to roads and transportation network for the high volume of vehicles. As you saw that list, many of them do not have employees, or it's very few employees. What they're doing is it's an area that it is essentially a gathering place for towing trucks, limousines, taxis, transport vehicles. And they're going out and picking up things in the community, things in the region, and you're having a lot of daily trips in and out. But what you're not getting is, other than maybe a few management or dispatch employees, you're not getting a lot of employees there. You're not getting a lot of impact other than the frequent trips, more so than most land uses in the township. And we just wanted to ensure that this didn't occur, in a commercial corridor to make traffic heavier or adjacent to a residential neighborhood for those reasons. Okay. So Planning Commission had the public hearing and recommended approval 6-0 by a resolution of the zoning ordinance text amendments without conditions to the Township Board. And the resolution from Planning Commission is included in your packet. So that is my presentation tonight. Thank you very much. I'd be happy to entertain any questions you may have.
Thank you. Questions or
Yep.
comments? Yes, trustee Rowe?
Yeah, I'm just, so currently, you can't run a towing service unless you have a building. Currently, you can't, like, that express bus people that are trying to come here, they couldn't just run their buses on a vacant piece of land somewhere without a building.
Correct.
Is that,
That's correct.
Yeah.
okay, and because of that, we have to change the zoning to allow that, because you're not allowed not to allow it?
Yeah.
We don't have a zoning district for it. They can currently go anywhere.
So part of this is we're really protecting ourselves because now this ordinance is not specifically for People's Express.
No, I know that.
Yeah,
I just-
but one of the things is we wanted to ensure that there is a zoning district in the township that it could be placed in to, and we also wanted to establish where it could not go in the township. Because sometimes, like when you have a planned development district or a PUD, sometimes it looks at some of the surrounding land uses, and we wanted to really focus on this land use being in the ICR district and not in our logistics and manufacturing, not in the innovation and technology, where those have more jobs, they have more growth, and you'll see a lot more growth around it, as those people are going to lunch or getting some of their, personal or business services. We wanted to ensure that these land uses were specifically in the ICR district and not impacting the other zoning districts or areas we have in the township, if that helps.
I know in the past, when I was still on the board, so it's been a little while before this term, we had on Textile Road by Antioch Church, and then we had another one where people just wanted to park like there was a real need with the change something in the trucking rules or laws. People wanted to have places to park their semis, and they tried to do that.
But they didn't have a building.
But because they didn't have this, so now this would allow them going through the rules and all the site plan, all that kind of.
Correct.
And it's only for the ICR, what does that stand for?
Industrial and commercial revitalization.
And that's the gray area that you showed on the first.
Correct.
That's where and did you say it's gonna take a special conditional or?
It is a special land use from Planning
So
Commission.
that'll go planning commission board or just planning commission?
Just Planning Commission.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? This is the first reading, and because it's an ordinance, we have to do a roll call vote. Trustee Rowe?
Yes.
Newman?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Swanson?
Yes.
Stumbo votes yes. Eldridge?
Yes.
And Thornton?
Yes.
The first reading is approved. Thank you, Mark. The next item on the agenda is to approve the resolution 2026-07, Dawn Farm 17th Annual Ride for Recovery Road Closure Request. Clerk Swanson.
Resolution number 2026-07, resolution regarding temporary road closure. Resolution authorizing the temporary road closure of Stony Creek to Textile, Textile to Hitchingham, Hitchingham to Merritt, Merritt to Stony Creek on Sunday, April 26th from 10 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. for the Ride for Recovery 5K, 10K run walk to benefit the Dawn Farm Ride for Recovery. Whereas the Charter Township of Ypsilanti Board of Trustees has approved the temporary road closure of Ypsilanti Township roads as indicated above, and whereas the Driveways, Banners, and Parades Act 200 of 1969 requires the township to authorize an official designated by resolution to make such request from the Road Commission. Now therefore be it resolved that the Township of Ypsilanti Board of Trustees designates and agrees that Tracy Powalowski, Development Director of Dawn Farms, the authorized official designee in this instance when application is made to the Washtenaw County Road Commission for this temporary road closure. So moved.
Motion Swanson, support Rowe. Discussion?
I just wanted So I just wanted to add that we had made a temporary pause in approving these earlier or late last year. And so you guys received an email. We are in process of drafting a policy and have kind of the first, but this as something that we've approved in the past. And we wanted, and if we don't allow for this opportunity to approve it, based on our pause, it wouldn't be able to go forward to the road commission in time. So we're close to being able to bring a policy to us. The sheriff's department's changed or has a new special events policy. So just understanding how this plus the sheriff's policy and plus the road commission's policy, all those have to fit together. So that's why we had a pause and we're working on it, but it wasn't ready yet for this right here. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear for the public and for all of the
Thank you.
trustees.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Tracy Pawlowski. I'm the Development Director at Dawn Farm. I, last year, came in front of you guys to request the same road closure, and we are super grateful for that. Again, the Ride for Recovery benefits treatment scholarships for people with substance use disorders. This is the 17th annual Ride for Recovery, and this year we are working on contracting with Washtenaw County. Again, they have a new policy or procedures that moving forward, we will be able to meet their requirements for that. Hoping to contract with the Sheriff's Department again, and HVA this year is grateful. We're very grateful that HVA is going to donate one of their units to be on standby for the event. So we're really hoping that the township would approve this and support the 17th annual Ride for Recovery. In addition to that, recovery for people in residential treatment from substance use disorders, I think it's really important for them to be able to see a community of people who show up to support them entering into recovery. And this is one of the events where the community comes. It's a really wonderful day, and people in treatment actually get to see there's an entire community of people that support me and support me being in recovery. So I think that's all I have. Any questions from you guys?
Any questions or comments? No. We're so thankful for everything that Dawn Farms does in our community, for our community. And the residential treatment is successful.
Yeah.
And I think it was one of the first ones in Washtenaw County that we had in the 70s.
Yeah.
And Ypsilanti Township had the first, and we're proud of it. So
Thank you.
good luck on raising your funds, and thank you for doing what you do.
Great. Thank you.
We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Number 3 is to approve the Washtenaw County Road Commission 2026 agreement for additional township-wide street sweeping and crack sealing in the total amount of $65,542.07, which is budgeted.
So move.
Motion Rowe,
Support.
support Peterson. Questions or comment? So what this does is it adds one additional street sweeping, so that'll be 3 in the township. Remember, the residents always let us know when they're happy and not happy with the service from the street sweeper. So if they're going too fast and not doing a very good job, just let us know or let the road commission know, because they will send them back out. So that's important. And then the crack sealing is in the Oaklawn Hawthorne area and on the west side. That's supposed to add life to the current pavement and prevent water from getting into and underneath the pavement. So we have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next item is a request to approve the Washtenaw County Road Commission 2026 agreement for the local road improvement. The township's estimated share in the amount of $745,000 from line item 213-446-982-000, contingent on a budget amendment.
So moved.
Motion Eldridge,
Support.
support Thornton. So these are local agreements that we do for road improvements. The county Road Commission recommends what area to go to, and it's Campbell, Lynn, Bagley, Hollis, Hunt Place, Brown Street, Maple Avenue, Oak Street, Walnut, Ivanhoe, Mohawk, Miami, Allen, Jerome, LeMay, Whitman, and Bailey. And this is to actually do a complete mill and overlay. So that's going to be a lot of improvements. So hopefully by us doing it now, we'll be first in the hopper to actually have the improvements occur instead of last, like we were with Green Farm. So questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 5 is to approve Plunkett and Cooney to provide professional legal services for zoning and land use.
So moved.
Motion Eldridge? Support Rowe? Are there questions and comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6 is approved change order. Number 8 with Braun Construction for additions of landscaping, additional door hardware, additional signage, and plumbing repairs in the amount of $19,515, which is budgeted.
So moved.
Motion Eldridge?
Support.
Support Thornton? Are there questions and comments? Would this hopefully be the last amendment?
I think we're getting close. I want to commit and say it'll be the last one because we have a lot of things coming up, but this still keeps us under budget as of right now. So we're getting close.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 7 is to approve the 2025-26 Washoe County Senior Nutrition Contract dated November 1st, 2025, and approve the amendments to the contract dated from April 1st, 2026 to September 30th, 2026.
So move Peterson.
Motion Peterson.
Support.
Support Eldridge. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 8 is budget amendment number 5. Clerk Swanson? We have a request to decrease, I'll do the motion, sorry. Move to decrease the general fund amount by $527,065 to $12,499,999 and approve the department line item changes as outlined. Motion to increase the bike, sidewalk, rec, roads, and the general BSR 2 funded by budget $100,000 to $3,078,519 and approve the department line item changes as outlined. And I move to increase the hydro dam fund by $25,000 to $561,266 and the line item changes as outlined. Motion is in order.
So moved.
Motion Swanson.
Support Peterson.
Support Peterson. Are there questions and comments on this? A lot of it is to close out the ARPA funds and the $100,000 for the roads that we were doing and the maintenance, unexpected maintenance for the hydro station. We have a motion and support. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under authorization and bids, number 1, we are seeking sealed bids for one new Ford F-150 4x4 Super Crew to support fire department operations and emergency response needs, which is budgeted.
So moved.
Motion Eldridge.
Support.
Support Swanson. This will come back to the Township Board for approval. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 2 is to accept the bid from Weingart Supply and purchase one 72-inch zero-turn mower in the amount of $14,798, which is budgeted.
So moved.
Motion Eldridge.
Support.
Support Swanson. Are there questions and comments? Hearing none, this was the lowest bid. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We're now at public comments. Each person gets 3 minutes, and if you would state your name, and if you're a township resident, it would be greatly appreciated. Are there any public comments?
I think thank you, Monica Ross Williams, 2150 Chevrolet. I just wanted to make sure I also put a thank you to the Township Board for bringing up the resolution at the special meeting last week. It is definitely appreciated by a number of residents, including myself, maybe who couldn't be at that meeting for various reasons. There has been a numerous number of residents that have been speaking out online about this issue. I don't know if the Township Board has read or been aware of all of their comments, but they have been extremely supporting of the township as it continues to fight the University of Michigan and this nuclear testing entity out of New Mexico. And we do not want this here. I want to make sure I emphasize, we do not want it anywhere here. We don't want it on the south side of the township. We don't want it over on the side of the township where West Willow is. We don't want it on the west side of the township. We don't want it in the land that used to be hydromatic and also powertrain. We don't want it anywhere because it's a threat to our township as a whole. It's a threat to our water. It's a threat to our electricity grid. It's a threat to township residents. And as the Attorney Winters has revealed, when you add nuclear testing and then various other things in there, it's also a threat to human life. And so please know that residents in this township is supporting this board as long as they continue to take the stances that they are. And other elected officials should know that by not supporting this board or acting as if they don't want to support it in any way, and that includes Jeff Irwin, and that includes Justin Hodge, and that includes Katie Scott, and that includes anyone on that Washington County Commission who is not actually speaking out about this. Thank you, Jimmy Wilson, for speaking out. Thank you, Jimmy Wilson. I'm going to say that again, for speaking out and basically trying to pull $100 million. They should know full well that residents in this township will be coming for their seats by any means necessary, because that's how serious this is at this moment with residents in this township. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Monica. Are there any other comments?
Jeremy Haley, resident. Good evening. The other day I received a letter from the ordinance department. So based on our records, an enforcement action for vegetation occurred on your property in Ypsilanti Township property in 2025. I called the number at the bottom to find out what it was about because I don't ever recall an action being taken. But apparently my neighbors called and complained about the arborvitaes on my side growing through the fence. And they came out and said, I guess they talked to them, but I wasn't really notified of that action. I think at one time later I was or something by the resident or whatnot. But why did I get a letter saying an action was taken when no action was taken? Basically, you're blaming a person who is a victim of somebody accusing them of something that was not true and accusing them that they did something by sending this letter. Just because I was part of it and nothing came of it, I'm still being accused and reminded of vegetation, how tall it has to be for a first-time offense, mowing charges. I'm being treated like I'm a criminal, like I did something wrong. I did nothing. All I did was get accused of something that came out to be nothing. And yet, as a resident, I got this letter. And when I spoke to the person on the phone, they said, well, anybody who's involved in an action, if you did it or not, still got a letter. To me, that's just not right. You're blaming, you're blaming people for stuff they haven't done. I can understand the people you've taken action for to send them this letter, but for the ones that didn't do anything, to sit and blame them. I'm sitting here, as you can tell, I'm insulted by it, being treated as a victim. I was not even told what happened, then get this letter going, what the hell? And then that's why I'm telling you after talking to him earlier, because you guys need not to do this to people, because questioning now, how many people did you send this letter out to, and how many people may be feeling the way I am right now? Thank you.
Thank you. Sounds like that was an error. And I do know they did a mailing to people who had actual violations of vegetation, because just to make them aware of the ordinance, like our goal is compliance. It is not to write tickets or do anything like that. We want the grass to be low for the neighbors who call in, and that's what happened. Sounds like it mistakenly was given to you, but we can look into it. I do think it helped inform people who were actually part of it last year. So that was the intent of it, and it sounds like there was a mistake made, so I'll look into it. Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
There's
Hearing
an
none?
announcement.
Oh, yes.
I don't know if it's public. I'm not sure who's putting it on, but I know it's been all over Facebook. There's a protest on data centers at the Diag on Saturday from.
Would that be under board member comment?
Oh, sorry, board member comment.
There's no other,
Sorry.
there's no other comments. Are there did you?
On April 13th, I got received an announcement about a State of the County event at Washtenaw Community College. It's at 5:30 till 8 p.m., and I had to register, but it doesn't say who's going to be there, who's presenting, or things like that, but it says something about our 200th
250,
anniversary.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just wanted to make sure everybody knew.
Thank
'Cause-
you.
Thanks. Oh, and I also wanted to put on the record too that the data center acreage is 144 acres, and that's the acreage of the Nichols Arboretum. Just wanted people to know
That's
that.
an interesting statistic. Thank you. There's no other business. Other board member comments? Trustee Rowe,
Just
speaking.
Protests on data centers. I have no idea who's putting it on. I know it's all over Facebook on Saturday at the Diag in Ann Arbor, where the Hash Bash was also at, from 11 to 4. Also, there's a convention coming up where they actually nominate individuals to the Board of Regents. So if you're interested, I'll give you more information on that.
Thank you.
Sunday, April the 18th, 19th.
Other board comment? I do want another issue that we've been following from the state of Michigan, that Governor Whitmer is very supportive of, is they're trying to take local zoning away from local government again. This is the second time it's happened, and my understanding is it has passed the Senate. Representative Wilson will be meeting with us this week to discuss the zoning, and what they want to do, it's really for developers, builders, and mobile home manufacturing lobbyist people, because it's just gone too far under the term of affordable housing, and to allow more density, to allow mobile home trailers on any vacant lot where there is water and sewer available, and to expedite the process for these developments. So I don't think we tell enough about what Ypsilanti Township has done over the last 10 years, but we have almost 200 homes that we partner with Habitat for Humanity, and those are affordable or attainable homes, and their home ownership. They work closely with Habitat in order to, they work on the home, it's energy efficient, and work with them on being new homeowners and provide resources for people if they need it. And I think sometimes, well, I know that people who make decisions should include people that it affects. And there was no conversation about this at all, absolutely none. And it's going to affect townships more than anyone because of, again, the land. And we're all for, attainable housing, but to have the state of Michigan dictate what local government does doesn't seem democratic. So we will keep you updated on that. A lot of people are opposed to it, and it's very unfortunate that we did meet with Senator Irwin. He was supposed to come back to us, and I was told it passed the Senate. I did send an email to confirm it, but he supports affordable housing. Of course, Ann Arbor will never have it because cities are built out, and it's just going to affect townships, really. There's some vacant lots in cities that they should be concerned about. And I hope that doesn't happen, but it seems like this is 3 strikes you're out, state of Michigan, with Ypsi Township, if this is passed. It's serious to take local zoning away from your local government. And the people who make the zoning decisions on our planning commission are residents. So it's disturbing and scary that this is happening. Yes.
Did Senator Irwin vote for it, Senate, do you know?
Well, I sent him an email. I haven't had a response on it. Someone sent me a notification about it. So I don't know. I thought he might have responded by now, but he hasn't. And we will meet Thursday and I can look up to find if it actually passed. But this is serious.
Yeah. One of the emails that we received as township board members, from SimCog has a really good sheet. I don't know if you got a chance. You got to click one of those things that has a million numbers. You don't know what I mean. But you click that one on one of the emails that we got it just recently, like last week. And it has 2 pages where it goes through each bill and who introduced them and makes it very simple in there. One of the things that's in there, which I knew the mobile home thing that you talked about, but it goes on to say that allowing what they call auxiliary ADU, auxiliary accessory dwelling units. Thank you. Sorry about that. And it says that mobile homes can be one, and it varies. It just has to be like, if you live like, let's say Oakland Estates, you live in Oakland Estates or any of our subdivisions, if it's no larger than 800 square feet, which is a trailer probably, or a lot of them, and it's not larger than the original unit, which would be your home. So you could have, like in your backyard, you could put up a accessory dwelling unit, and it only has to be 5 feet from the setback. The setbacks are really small. Anyways, basically, when I read that, we could have trailers put in every single residential area. People could have them in their backyards as auxiliary dwelling units and rent those out. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
It is.
Where there's water and sewer. If you don't have water and sewer, you don't have to worry about it. But yeah, that's crazy.
It's serious. It's very serious to roads. But they never thought about how would that impact the roads that are in the neighborhoods, because and they just never thought about it.
It will permanently change. You platted a subdivision, you had plans, you had all this zoning stuff, and it'll just basically just toss, not just for the future, but for the past.
Yeah.
This is like affecting to try to infill, or it's more than infill. It's like trying to just make more and more and more units. Whether you can turn your garage into to an apartment, there's a lot of stuff that they have in there.
And that reminds me, Senator Irwin had questions about the fire. I go, well, what about the fire health and safety? And he goes, well, there's too many regulations on that. And we adopt the state regulations for fire safety. So I just think sometimes people, well, I know that when people make decisions, if they don't include the people that it actually affects and who knows a lot about planning, including our planner, I mean, our planners, contract planners are opposed, our planner is opposed. It's just too much, too quick, and they're trying to rush it through to get it approved. And Governor Whitmer is like shouting the loudest for us and won't even ask a question or meet with people that it affects. It's just wrong. It's
Was changing the minimum lot size that you, as a township, that we can have to 1,500 square feet. That's 10 by 15.
Is that right? No.
I thought it was wrong, but then I saw another piece of legislation. It's like, what do you, so, I don't know, maybe 800, you could put an 800 square foot unit on a 1,500 square foot, and that's the smallest that any, we could not make a law or ordinance, it would change all of ours, that can be, we cannot have a lot size smaller than 1,500.
And there's a time limit that our planning commission and our planning director and all the reviewing agencies must approve it. It's really bad legislation, so we'll keep you posted on that. Motion to adjourn is in order?
Support.
Motion Eldridge, support Thornton, meeting adjourned at 7:50. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned at 7:15. Thank you.
You know, I got one of those letters.